Welcome back, Boston Celtics fans, to another incredibly important and highly analytical playoff breakdown. Right here on the channel where we discuss every single angle of our relentless pursuit of Banner 19. We are skipping the long-winded introductions today and diving straight into the absolute masterpiece that we all just proudly witnessed at the legendary TD Garden on Sunday afternoon. The Boston Celtics completely dominated Game 1 and made incredibly easy work of the Philadelphia 76ers defending their home court with absolute authority and sending a massive message to the rest of the Eastern Conference. But beyond the flashy scoring numbers and the highlight reel dunks from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, there is a much deeper tactical story that organically unfolded on the hardwood, and it perfectly highlights a massive adjustment from one of our most important trade deadline acquisitions. We really need to talk about Nikola Vucevic and the incredibly subtle but absolutely crucial skills he flashed that could be the ultimate key to our entire playoff hopes this season. The absolute biggest adjustment for Nikola Vucevic since officially joining the Boston Celtics organization has undoubtedly been shifting his entire mindset to accept and thrive in a significantly lower usage role. When you look back at his entire illustrious professional career, you see a guy who spent years and years averaging 14 or more field goal attempts per single game, serving as the absolute primary offensive focal point for teams like the Orlando Magic and the Chicago Bulls. Now that he has arrived in Boston, he has willingly sacrificed over 5 shot attempts per outing to seamlessly fit into this stacked championship roster. It is not necessarily something that he is fiercely opposed to doing. It is honestly just a completely different world for him. Vucevic actually explained this entire mental transition perfectly after a big win over the New Orleans Pelicans earlier this month. He openly admitted to the media that he is actively adjusting to the glaring fact that he simply might not get as many total shots as he has grown completely used to over the last decade of his career. He stated that when he finally does get those rare offensive opportunities, he absolutely needs to make the very best out of them, because he can no longer just casually work his way into a rhythm the way he was highly accustomed to doing before. He acknowledged that it is absolutely not an easy mental adjustment after so many long years of being the main guy, but he knows deep down that it is a specific role that is going to heavily help the Boston Celtics win games. He was entirely willing to accept this massive sacrifice, and he genuinely thinks the entire process has been going very well so far as he continues to work hard on it every single day in practice. There is genuinely something incredibly profound to be said about being an absolute offensive focal point for your entire professional basketball career, and then suddenly having to perfectly fit into an already highly successful and deeply established squad right in the middle of a grueling season. Vucevic definitely still has a lot of hard work to do in that specific regard, as the Boston Celtics officially begin their massive climb towards Banner 19. But his overall performance in the Game 1 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers on Sunday was an absolutely massive step in the right direction for his confidence and the team chemistry. Specifically, the 35-year-old veteran center heavily put his physical fingerprints all over a massive third-quarter stretch that effectively squashed absolutely any lingering hope of a Philly comeback on our home floor. And the most beautiful part about it is that he did absolutely all of it while operating perfectly within a low-usage role. Head coach Joe Mazzulla brilliantly pointed out during his post-game press conference that the coaching staff is not explicitly asking Vucevic to go out there and score 30 points a night. They are simply asking him to go out there and play winning basketball. During that crucial third-quarter stretch, Vucevic aggressively ripped down 3 massive rebounds and smoothly sank a huge three-pointer in transition to forcefully push the Boston lead up to 22 points midway through the period. His final statistical output was perfectly fine for a backup center, but it is honestly all the little gritty things that absolutely do not ever show up in the traditional box score that are making him a real difference maker for this elite roster. Right here in the very middle of this massive tactical breakdown of our Game 1 victory. If you are truly enjoying our daily deep dives into the absolute best Boston Celtics playoff coverage available anywhere, please take a quick second right now to passionately hit that subscribe button and leave a massive like on this video, because your continuous daily support is exactly what allows us to keep bringing you the most detailed tactical breakdowns on the entire internet, without fail. Getting right back into the incredible impact of our veteran big man Joe Mazzulla had some incredibly high praise for him after the final buzzer sounded. Mazzulla stated that he thought Vucevic was absolutely great on the floor and that he executed exactly the specific things that the coaching staff desperately expected of him in this matchup. Mazzulla noted that Vucevic confidently took some completely open jump shots when the defense sagged off, but more importantly, he fiercely protected the rim and physically kept opposing big men like Andre Drummond and Adam Bona completely off the offensive glass in highly specific spots, where the other Boston players were technically responsible for securing those rebounds. The head coach brilliantly explained that a player simply does not get any official statistical credit or media praise when they physically keep their assigned man from getting a rebound and someone else on the team swoops in to actually grab the loose ball. But at the absolute end of the day, the Boston Celtics just have to do whatever it physically takes to win playoff games. Mazzulla was thrilled that Vucevic did a truly great job executing that unselfish dirty work all night long. Taking completely open shots honestly sounds incredibly simple, and in part, it really is just basic basketball fundamentals. If the open look is right there, you simply fire the ball up toward the rim. But at the exact same time, there are still incredibly complex offensive reads and split-second decisions to be expertly made in those high-pressure spots. Vucevic is a highly skilled player who has grown incredibly used to having entire offensive game plans, specifically built to get him comfortable shots in his favorite spots on the floor, but now he is actively learning how to remain highly aggressive in much smaller, isolated moments. He spoke about this specific learning curve recently, noting that a player usually finds their offensive rhythm as the game naturally goes on. He mentioned that in the past he would sometimes get going very early in the first quarter when he was the primary focal point of the offense, and sometimes he would just naturally get enough total shots eventually to work himself out of a cold shooting slump. But here in Boston, coming directly off the bench, his entire mental process has to be significantly quicker to get fully engaged into the speed and physicality of the game. He realizes that there will inevitably be times where there might be a few consecutive offensive possessions where he simply does not even touch the basketball, or he will just have to unselfishly play off other people significantly more than he ever has in his entire past. But there was one incredibly specific play on Sunday afternoon that perfectly showcased exactly how Vucevic can massively help the Boston Celtics win a championship, even in very small doses. The absolute ultimate highlight of the entire Sunday victory for Vucevic had to have been the brilliant hockey assist that he flawlessly created right out of a quick short roll decision. This is yet another massive winning play that absolutely does not show up in the traditional box score to validate his performance. After securely catching the basketball in heavy traffic surrounded by defenders, the veteran big man smoothly did a complete 180-degree turn and perfectly found an entirely open Jaylen Brown waiting in the deep corner. Brown then immediately swung the basketball over to Derek White for an absolutely wide-open three-pointer that completely electrified the passionate home crowd. That specific offensive sequence came at a highly critical stage of the game, when the Philadelphia 76ers were desperately trying to make a massive offensive push to get back into the contest. The Boston lead had unfortunately dwindled down to just 15 points when that play unfolded, and Vucevic played an absolutely key visionary role in expertly getting the team a completely clean offensive look to magically calm everything down and regain complete control of the momentum. His elite ability to consistently make those rapid connecting plays in the half-court offense was honestly one of the absolute biggest selling points for the front office when the Celtics officially traded for him earlier this year. Going completely forward into the rest of this grueling playoff series and hopefully deep into the summer, his ability to confidently knock down open three-pointers off the catch is going to be absolutely as important as ever for the overall spacing of the offense. Catch-and-shoot three-pointers are mathematically one of the absolute best and most efficient ways for a lower-usage role player to make a massive impact as a scorer without disrupting the flow of the primary superstars. You really have to think of his specific offensive role exactly like a massive offensive lineman in the sport of football. Opposing defensive teams simply cannot afford to send extra aggressive pressure or double teams at our star players by heavily helping off of Vucevic if he proves to be a completely lethal shooting threat from long range. If he is confidently hitting his shots, the defense has to stay glued to him, completely opening up massive driving lanes for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to easily attack the basket. But conversely, if he is absolutely not a threat to shoot the basketball from the perimeter, then he might as well be completely missing his crucial blocks on the offensive line, allowing the defense to swarm the paint and totally disrupt the entire offensive system. The Boston Celtics need Nikola Vucevic to embrace this exact role, continue making those brilliant connecting passes, and keep punishing the defense from the outside, because if he does, this team is going to be completely and utterly unstoppable on their glorious path to Banner 19.